Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Garrison School Board. Can we all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here.
President Daly. Here. President Trustee Clements. Here. Trustee Headland.
Here.
Trustee Barr.
Here. Mr. O'Rourke.
Great. My board will be glad to hear we only have one item of business tonight, and that's to appoint Laura as our clerk pro tem. And the resolution says, resolve the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby appoints Laura Mitchell to serve as clerk pro tem for the February 5, 2019 special meeting of the Board of Education.
So moved.
Need a second.
Second.
Well done. All those in favor? Aye. No abstentions, no nays. Well done, Laura. It's
Thank
all
you,
yours.
everyone. My big claim to fame.
So,
Okay, once again, I'd like to welcome everybody to this joint meeting. It's always a pleasure to have you all here. Thanks for joining us. Just a reminder that the next Haldane Board of Ed meeting is scheduled for February 26th at 7 p.m., and we will be back in the band room in the lower building. That said, Dr. Benante.
Thank you, Ms. Hammond. I also wanted to welcome our friends from the Garrison Union Free School District. Also want to extend appreciation to Mr. O'Rourke and Ms. Mitchell. We had the opportunity with Ms. Hammond and I to go out and grab some coffee last week and catch up, get to know each other a little bit better, and share a little bit about the work that's going on in the Garrison schools and the Haldane schools. And I think we even identified a few items that perhaps we could continue to work together on to make the transition for our Garrison students as they come to Haldane High School that much more seamless. So I've enjoyed the opportunity to get to know Laura over the course of this year as my colleague, and look forward to our continued work together. So welcome to Haldane this evening. And with that, I'd want to turn it over to Miss Julia Sniffen, our high school principal, who has a presentation. She's going to provide a bit of an overview on Haldane and what we have to offer here. And we're going to leave plenty of time for questions and dialogue for this evening. That's really the spirit of what tonight is about. We do have a few small items of business to get to afterwards, but the bulk of this evening is about our relationship, our work with Garrison students here in Haldane, and how we can do that even better than we currently are. So welcome, Julia. I'll turn it over to you. Thank you.
Before I begin, I just want to thank you all for being here, up here in the high school. I'd like to take a moment also to say that we had the Garrison students here a few weeks ago, and I was highly impressed with the students, with their maturity, their conversation, their questions. It was really nice to have them all here. In addition to that, we had a joint 8th grade Haldane Garrison parent meeting a few weeks ago as well, and I would say there were quite a few parents there with some great questions. I also have with me tonight Kristen Moscow, who's our high school guidance counselor and department chair. And in addition, 2 students are going to be running up the hill, literally, from play practice, so that you would have a student perspective if you do have any questions. I couldn't get any Garrison students tonight. Some of them are also at play practice, and their parts, they couldn't run up here to do it because they needed to be on stage. But I do have 2 juniors that will be up here to answer any questions you may have in regards to the student perspective. So with that said, again, welcome, and thank you for being here. So tonight I'm just going to show a short video to you. I think some of you have seen it, and some of you may have not. It was done by a group of high school students here, kind of a day in the life or what it means to be a high school student. So I do think actually everybody on your board has seen it. I don't think everybody on our board has seen it, and I don't know if everybody in the audience has. So that this is live and works.
Julie, should we hit the lights?
Yeah.
Yep.
Haldane's a place where you don't have to worry
worry about how you act when you're around people because you're going to know the people will love you no matter what.
I think the best thing about Haldane is the people. Everybody's just so nice.
Haldane is a community and everybody can fit in.
I love how Haldane has teachers you can just be friends with and be casual.
I guess everyone's pretty much friends with each other, so there's not a lot of drama or fighting or anything like that.
What I like about Haldane is that although it's a small school, you get to know a lot of people.
I fit in so well here, and people ask me all the time if I came from Garrison because it just doesn't matter.
It's a small school, so you get to do things that, like everybody gets involved in something.
Yeah, the drama department at the school is really amazing because there's a lot of dedication. I've never been to a school with as much dedication as this school. Everyone puts their heart into it, and I really respect that.
My favorite thing about Haldane drama is kind of the freedom of expression that the students and Ms. Mack, the director, allows. Not only do we have such a dedicated adult circle to transform the plays into something great and meaningful, we have such a dedicated student body. I've never seen a group of kids more willing to kind of expose themselves on stage.
Haldane sports, it's pretty strong as of this point.
Well, I've played a couple sports at the school and I've never really felt a greater sense of brotherhood.
Haldane soccer is not only a fun experience, but a good way to bond with each other and the teammates in the team.
I like cross country and track at Haldane because we have two very great coaches. They both have excellent programs for us that help us improve our times and become better athletes.
I played soccer and then played basketball, and you have a bunch of football players that play basketball, so it's a lot of fun to have multiple sport athletes play together.
Every year, we have teams going to sectionals and regionals and even states.
Here at Haldane, we have a lot of really awesome options for AP and honors classes, which really allow you to academically challenge yourselves.
Dr. Ricker is my personal hero. I mean, it's always fun being in the class with him.
There are 3 A's to a successful school: academics, art, and athletics. Because I believe every student can excel at least in one of those. Haldane certainly provides ample opportunity for every student to excel in all 3.
Well, you asked me about my favorite class, so that's science research with Rule, and it's nice that it's not super rigid. Like, I'm doing science research, but it's on my own terms.
This place is a dream come true. I love my students, I love teaching math, and in my second year here, I've never felt more welcome in the community.
Ms. Grasso is great. You always have something to do in her class. She's always getting you involved with all discussions, and I don't know, her class is definitely my favorite though.
If you want a place in a school, if you want to make a positive difference, there's a spot for you here, and there's people here to support you in that.
Well, there are a lot of electives here at Haldane, and the great thing about all the electives here is that they're always evolving and changing.
My favorite thing about teaching here at Haldane is that the students feel like they can be creative. They're comfortable enough to feel creative in this kind of atmosphere, and I think that Haldane does a really good job at fostering that creativity.
Is that you're really close to your peers, and it is a great atmosphere for people who want to come.
I love how everyone can just go to one another and just talk. Like, we know each other, and we really do. And that's the great thing about Haldane.
Can't shut before that. So, with that said, our mission is to prepare the students for an ever-changing global society. And even just today, a prime example of that, even just today at our faculty meeting, we spent a lot of time talking about instructional practices for the 21st century in a nice jigsaw way, where teachers were sharing some of their thoughts on different articles that have been written. So I think that that's constantly something we continue to work on. Here we go. So as you see that at the center of kind of the philosophy up here, and I'll talk a little bit about each of these points. For the sake of the Garrison board, this is a new presentation, so it doesn't look like it did last year. A little new and improved. But deeper learning, we talk a lot here at Haldane about going deep into the content, a mile deep and an inch wide. I think for many, many years, education went, right, a mile wide and an inch deep. It's very important to us that our students are taking information, then synthesizing and analyzing that information in a deeper manner. Becoming college and career ready. You'll see through some future slides in regards to our coursework as it relates to college ready, but also ensuring that our students are career ready. We have a lot of courses that will meet their needs, whether it's consumer math or business math. In addition, our BOCES, Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES, I live in the Arlington School District, and not trying to knock Duchess BOCES in any way, shape, or form, but the programming that the Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES provides to the students in this region is phenomenal if they choose to go that path. I can't speak highly enough about the work that they do and that Jim Ryan leads down there. One mind at a time. We spend a lot of time individually with our students as we discuss their coursework, their potential future, what it is that they're looking for, and then ensuring they have access to that through Haldane. Stretching our students beyond, and that talks a little bit, we talk a lot about the whole child, whether it's the arts, whether it's athletics, whether it's here academically in the classroom, really making sure we're stretching our students as much as possible. Creating innovative, creative, independent thinkers. The other thing I'd like to add to that I think we should, and yesterday's a prime example of that, is civic-minded. Having them engage in what's going on globally, what's going on in their own neighborhoods, and really working civically towards having them be civic-minded students. Yesterday, we had a group of students who were interviewed by NPR here at the school. Just so happened Sean Patrick Maloney was here yesterday, so of course there were quite a few film crews here at the same time. But just listening to their questions and their engagement with Sean Patrick Maloney and the questions they have, they clearly are taking in government, and they're learning and asking questions. And Sean even says it. He says, you know, I come here and I have these coffee talks, and the questions that these students ask far exceed some of the adult conversations he has with people as it relates to what is going on in the world around us. So super proud of that. So that's kind of the overarching philosophy. As we look at the academic coursework and the rigor for a very small school district, we offer 13 AP courses and 16 college courses. Some of those overlap in regards to offering AP, and they would, you know, end the course in that, but also getting the college credit. Our college courses that we are associated with would be Dutchess Community College, Albany, and Syracuse, which that program is referred to as SUPA. One of the students mentioned in the video the ever-changing and evolving electives. We work really hard at rotating through electives so that it's not the same elective every year, but that our students have the options to really take multiple electives. They're here for 4 years. So if you cycle through those electives every 2 years, the students can really take quite a few through their time here. Whether it's creative writing, mythology and fantasy, whether it's some of the meteorology or astronomy, there's quite a few. To dive a little deeper into the electives, I highly recommend you take a look at our website. If you go to the high school and you go to the guidance page of our website this year, not only is our course catalog there, which it was in the past, all of the syllabi of the teachers for every single course that is offered are accessible right there. So you can read through the courses and the work that's done there. And they're live documents, so they're ever evolving and they're ever changing, and teachers update and make changes in their curriculum, and you'll see that there. I talked already a little bit about BOCES. We also offer virtual high school, so if there are some courses or interests that students, come on in, it's good to see you. If there are courses that students are interested in that we may not have here, we do have the availability for students to take those courses via virtual high school. They would just make an appointment with their guidance counselor, we'd have a conversation, we'd be sure to get them enrolled in that class. You can see here the list of AP courses that we offer, anywhere from AP Calc to AP Psychology. Some of our AP courses, here they come. I told you they would run up the hill. Come on in, have a seat. Thank you, guys. Some of our AP coursework are open enrollments. And as we look at some of the numbers of students that are in AP courses, you will see our AP Psych is an open enrollment course. So if you're a junior or senior, you want to take AP Psych, you're going to take AP Psych and we're going to work to support you. You want to take AP Physics 1, there's a prerequisite of Intro to Physics, but if you want to take AP Physics 1, we're going to support you in taking AP Physics 1. So I think that's another feature that we really work to support our students in challenging themselves as they see they want to. Internships in our senior year, our students participate in internship. They do that for the last 6 to 8 weeks, depending on how the calendar falls. We have a teacher who helps set them up with internships in potential fields that they are interested in going into, and they take that time to work in that field. They do have some work, they do have some reflection, they have some share out that they need to do, they need to prove their hours, but it's a great program for our students. One other elective to mention would be freshman seminar, where we work to help the students assimilate to the high school. Whether it's work with organization, understanding yourself as a learner. We also bring in guest speakers. We do some preventative education work in that course. I mentioned some of this already. We've worked really hard in terms of math. I mentioned the AP Physics already. AP Stats is another course that our enrollment is quite high, that we see our students really challenging themselves in the areas of math and science. We have just started this year, the first year of offering a biliteracy diploma for our students in regards to their graduation and getting through that AP level of a language, making them eligible for the seal of biliteracy, or for our students who come in as English language learners, they as well, if they meet the criteria, they could be eligible for a seal of biliteracy diploma. I talked a lot about working to support our students. We have 10th period. I think for many of you, that's nothing new. We offer from 2:15 to 3 o'clock. At minimum 3 days a week, our teachers are available, Tuesdays and Thursdays. We do a lot of professional development. We have a lot of our department chair meetings, our faculty meetings. We try to set them on Tuesdays and Thursdays so that our students know that they might not have teachers available on those days, but on those days we have HEART, which is from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, and there we have one teacher from each department that's available to help students if they need extra supports in classes. So today, as I was coming back, actually I was walking out at 5, they were still in there and helping students get the help that they need. I talked about freshman seminar, talked a little bit about citizenship already. And faculty, again, meeting and collaborating and working together for the betterment of the students. Another thing we do is we do have child study team meetings every other week. If a parent is recognizing that they have a student who is struggling, we can bring the child study team together to take a look at how they're doing. We can take a look at data. We can take a look at some information that teachers may provide. Or if a teacher has a concern about a child that they may think we need to take a look at and maybe make some adjustments, we would bring that student to child study team as well. So it's really just all minds on as it pertains to each of our students. Instructional technology. We do have an opt-in one-to-one program So many of our freshmen opt in to taking the one-to-one device. I would say by the time our students are juniors or seniors, they tend to have their own device, and they may not opt into the one-to-one, but we do a lot of work in Google Classroom, so that availability for students to have it is provided. We updated all of our Wi-Fi. It's fast and it works, which is great. That happened at the end of middle of last year. I think most of you know about PowerSchool. It's just our interactive. Parents have access to grade books in terms of student progress and how they're doing. Discover, Create, and Innovate is a course that we have. It's along the lines of STEAM. It's really student-centered, where the students are finding problems in which they want to solve. And they use different practices to go through and solve those problems. I know Noah took it. I don't know if Andrew, I don't think Andrew has. Yes, Noah did. I don't think Andrew did. That's the kind of stuff, right? When you're a principal in a small school, you know what courses they've taken over the time that they've been here. And that's the kind of stuff I love about being here. So, Kristen.
Okay, so some of the services that we have here at Haldane. To the microphone? Sure. If I get out of breath, I apologize. I get a little winded. I selfishly think that the guidance counselor's position here is the greatest position in a school district. We get to see the children at their best and when they're not at their best, right? We're the home base of what is it that they need, and if it's not us, connecting them with the right people. We're a support for the students as much as we are for the parents and family members. I am Kristen Moscow, and I do grades 10 through 12. And Lisa Kahn, who just replaced Carol Story, does grades 6 through 9. We do everything from social emotional to college and career planning and everything in between, right? Conflict with a peer, working through any kind of scenario that comes up in high school. We also have a social worker, Mr. Scott Manny, who is housed right here in the high school, available to all students. Pretty sure majority of the students know him, right? Even if you might not see him regularly, he's a known face in the building. Our school psychologist is Miss Tara Rounds. And if we identify a student from the child study team meeting who might need testing or maybe a reevaluation of some kind, and we just have further questions, she sits on those meetings and is always available for collaboration with us. Our prevention educator is contracted in through Cove Care and is one of the people who will push into the freshman seminar class. She also does other presentations down in the elementary school and middle school. We have our school resource officer, Mr. Matt Shelters, and our school peace officer, Officer Segnet. So a lot of supports. And I think what's nice is, specifically for our SRO, in such a small district, the kids create such nice relationships with him, and it's just another strong relationship that they have here in the building. So Naviance is something that we utilize for college and career readiness. It starts in middle school and through the high school. So in the 9th grade, we work on a lot of resume building and getting the students to think about career, what have they done, and how to start building that, right? What would that look like? In 10th grade, we build on it, and if I start going into too much, someone give me a signal. In 10th grade, we build on it. They do career interest profilers, and I know the boys have sat through these, so if you feel like you want to add to it, by all means. And you can start to see what are some areas of interest, things that I'm interested in, but what would some of those strengths be, and what would jobs look like? In the 11th grade, we then look back to say, what are some of those majors and what schools offer them? So now you know what schools, when we go to the college fair May 1st, who might you speak with when you go there, right? To really have a good game plan. So we just build on that each year. I know Andrew has a college countdown clock on his phone, right? So he does. So he was one of my first ones scheduled for a junior meeting, and I love their enthusiasm for learning it, right? I mean, where else? I've never had that as much as I get it here, so it's wonderful. The PSAT, our students start taking that in the 10th grade to get familiar with sitting for the exam, to start seeing where their strengths and weaknesses are. PSAT collaborates with Khan Academy for great study plans. 11th grade, they will retake it and then really start to find down what do they need to improve on. We also offer an SAT class, which assists with that. We have a variety of workshops and panels. Since my time here 3 years ago, we've increased what is offered. We have, of course, the financial aid night, which is offered every fall. We open up all of our presentations 9 through 12. So even though financial aid is a senior matter, some parents are welcomed if they're interested in learning about that during freshman year. By all means, they are welcome to attend. I also invite a college admissions panel in the spring. Started that last year. Have 4 amazing colleges already lined up for this spring. And it's just an opportunity for them to share what are they looking for, as well as get questions and answers. This year, we might do a case study so that parents can really be engaged in the process of what our college is looking for when your students are applying. We have our alumni panel, so we'll have students back who have graduated to communicate with the seniors, things that they wish they would have known, what's their first year been like, just to get them prepared for that experience. What's not on there that we also have is obviously our curriculum night in the fall, but we also offer a 9-10 parent night. So what I wish I knew when my children were juniors is how it's labeled. And we bring in a lot of presenters. Someone from Summit comes in, they do the SAT versus the ACT, right? Which would be better for my child with their way of learning. NCAA, do I think my child might do a Division I or II sport? If so, what's going to be the process for that? So really whatever the need is, we will have a presenter in to discuss that with you. College and career readiness. In terms of scheduling, we do a real one-on-one process. So every year we will do a presentation. We go over all the course selections. And I think back to what Ms. Sniffen had suggested is that if I have a student who is interested in meteorology, last year student, who then advocates for that program, it runs. And this year it's running beautifully. So I think that we go over the course requirements, we go over what is offered, we go over what the need is or the want. And then, not always, but I can tell you, if there's a way to get it done, we're making it happen. So I think that's a true testament to the meteorology course this year. It was beautifully done. So we are proud of all of our students' accomplishments. This is where some of their hard work has landed them with some of the colleges that they have gotten to so far.
And again, all of this is online, if you care to go back to it. So as we talk about data, again, our N is very small, right? So we're not talking about a large number of students, and the population changes every year. I often say, and last year I said, these are all our students, Garrison students or Haldane students. They're all our students. But you can take a look here at some of the success over the years. Right here, you are looking at AP students with scores of 3 or higher. And you can see at Haldane above clearly both the state and the global in regards to the percentage of students, AP students who are scoring a 3 or higher, right? Not all schools, but some schools will accept the 3 or higher as credit towards college. Some schools require 5. It depends on the school. We obviously don't know all of that information. That would be something as students are applying to college that they would ask the questions in regards to would their AP courses be accepted. You see a gradual increase in the number of students that are taking AP classes and then the number of exams that are actually being given. Some of our students may take just 1 AP, some of our students take 6 APs. It really depends on the student. This slide is specific to Garrison students. And this would obviously be last year's graduating seniors when you look at some of the AP data there. And actually not just seniors, but also, I stand corrected, sophomores and juniors. You'll see the number of students that we had total. You'll see the percentage that are in National Honor Society. 69% of students in extracurricular activities and 61% of students involved in athletics specifically. There's 58% of the Garrison students took AP or college courses. That does not include honors courses, but AP and college specific. In the 10th grade, that would be 36% were in AP World. That would be the course that would be specific to. In 11th grade, there's a lot of APs that would be specific to. And then last year, the seniors, 100% of them opted to take an AP course from Garrison. Again, we spoke a little bit about AP Stats, kind of the enrollment there, and AP Psychology. It's really an open enrollment course for students interested in that. 30 exams were taken of the Garrison students, and 77% of the students scored a 3 or higher on those, or 77% of the tests, I'm sorry, not just students, tests were a 3 or higher. As we look at SAT and ACT breakdown, we were able to break down the SAT by Garrison student specific. We were not able to break down the ACT. Again, the N is small as it stands with the ACT. But you can see here the Garrison students performed very well as it relates to the SAT, as did the students who have come all the way through Haldane, well above the New York State average in regards to SAT scores. But if you were to take an average of the Garrison SAT scores, it was 1,300, which is very good. Some arts and extracurricular. Everybody loves this picture. Again, credit to Megan Shields, I have to say, for the inlay of all the pictures from Haldane. But as it relates to the arts, Chris?
So we offer a very strong band program here. They have concert band, jazz band, and the Blues Devils, all of which have different focus. They meet at different times, and I think they all have a really strong relationship with the advisors of those. Our fine arts and digital arts programs, we offer our studio art, our drawing and painting, depending what the need is that year, either ceramic and sculpture, and advanced art. Certain times there's the portfolio development if required, and we even added a studio music production course last year, which the students have loved. They work on the writing of material and the production of it with the equipment. We offer chorus and our performing arts. Our drama program is very strong, and so they have their creative writing. We have drama as an elective where they study it as well as they could perform it, and that's
so I just think some of the experiences that we have for our students that are unique, there's clearly trips to the city, which is close in proximity, a lot of work on, again, civic-minded students as it relates to service learning trips, service learning activities within the school day here. Immersion, our language immersion day is a full day of immersion within languages. And then some of the other things that I think tie into the arts, Poetry Out Loud, which, again, 2 students here who participated in Poetry Out Loud, run by Dr. Richter. They're actually on their way to New Paltz for regionals, which is coming up soon. Reflections, debate has gotten enormous here. They, I think, have done 4 trips this year. They're on their way to Harvard for the Harvard debate. We did a Model UN trip this year where we had best, Andrew, I think, won for one of the best debaters within the Model UN process. Up at UConn. So again, all of this is online in regards to our extracurricular. For a tiny little school district, there is a lot, and we're speaking quite a bit too. So we're going to speed this up. Sports teams, you can see here, we have an addition of girls lacrosse that is starting at the JV level and working its way up. And I think another thing that makes us unique is this culture and the spirit that you get here at Haldane. Whether it's homecoming week and the pep rallies, whether it's the send-off where you have the 5-year-olds all the way to the 17-year-olds at the flagpole cheering on the varsity athletes, whether it's the ringing of the bell at graduation. It's just a phenomenal tradition. It brings a sense of community and pride for our students. We have an entire end-of-the-year picnic for the whole school to celebrate our seniors for their hard work and their dedication towards their academics. We say it's cool to do well in school here, and it really is. It's not just a line. It's a great place to be. One thing I didn't mention at the beginning is our 55-minute schedule periods, which really fosters some of this deeper learning and work that we've talked a lot about. And I think it's important to mention that not only is it a 55-minute period of instructional time, it rotates. So they're not sitting in the same class at the same time every day. And so I think that's another piece that I should have mentioned up at the beginning. But at this time, we will take some questions. Yeah. I know I have Andrew and Noah who have to get back to play practice. So if you have anything specific for them, please feel free.
I don't have a question, Julia, but I will say, Kristen and Julia both, thank you so much for this. Tremendously informative. I know what the demands on your time are like, and I know that a particular amount of work went into drawing out some of that Garrison student data, which is extraordinary. One, it's very helpful.
Can you just grab the mic? Sorry.
It's very helpful. It's also very reassuring and very rewarding. It's abundantly clear to me, I won't speak for the rest of the board, that Garrison students, when they come here, genuinely thrive. And that's a tremendous impression to come away with. It's a tremendous feeling for us to have as trustees. So with the thank yous aside, if any of my trustees have questions, by all means, now's the time to ask.
Tell us a little bit about how your thinking about curriculum is evolving. And I mean, what you see yourself doing 2 years down the road that you're not doing now, and maybe also what you're doing now that you weren't doing 2 years ago.
So I think there's a couple answers to the question, right? The first is, right, we always work within state mandates, right, and the curriculum that's set forth for us. So there is evolving and changing that is happening at that level, whether it's next-gen standards that are now not only rolled out in science, but in English and in mathematics. The re-looking at the social studies curriculum, that's another thing that we've been looking at. So you look at that, and you look at the standards, and you look at the work you need to do to make sure that that work is aligned. Both horizontally from class to class, which is easier for us because it's the same teacher usually teaching those courses, but then vertically as well, making sure the students are ready to access that curriculum as it changes. And then there's the pedagogical approach in which you deliver that information. And I think that you are simultaneously working on both of those. And that's where we talk about a lot of the diving deep, getting students to analyze, to synthesize, to evaluate. We have a teacher who has Alexa in the front of the classroom, right? And when there's the question, and I was in the class the other day, and they were talking about bureaucracies, and they were talking about how in debt is the U.S. Postal Service. Well, that's an ever-evolving number, and it's constantly changing. So when you turn around and you say, Alexa, how much in debt is the U.S. Postal Service? Nobody needs to memorize that information anymore, right? So we're getting that information from Alexa. She's providing it to us because it's a detail. Well, we have that detail, but how do we take that detail now and use that to make sure that we're making decisions and really helping that system function better? So how do we then take data points, we analyze it, we synthesize it, we problem solve? So a lot of the work as it relates to pedagogy and instruction, and that's not an easy thing to do, to create lessons and create projects and create different units that are getting our students to really analyze, synthesize, evaluate, and become problem solvers. So I think what I see is the continued work towards the deeper learning, really hitting those Bloom's taxonomy, those higher level of learning, as opposed to, Regents exams are a measure, right? We give Regents exams, but we want to be sure we're teaching beyond a test. So I think that work is continuing. I see us continuing that work within the next few years as both the standards change and we ensure that our pedagogical practices are creating students who are really thinking deeply, if that kind of answers the work that we will continue to be doing. It's ever evolving. Today, again, I think before you walked in, we had talked about at our faculty meeting today, we were talking about 21st century students and the 21st century learning. And there were 9 data points that we were analyzing and reviewing and talking about in group, and then sharing out from there. So a lot of instructional work.
Sorry. I was just going to cue you on something that we did last year was the shift in mathematics.
That's what I was
okay.
Yeah, sure.
And I know
think
that
I may have
because
shared some of that
okay,
with-
because
but
it was
I can,
beneficial for my
So
son.
one of the things, again, again, Regents, we are in New York State, and students need to get through some Regents exams. But I think we have to look at it as not, the end of it isn't the Regents exam. And last year, we made a shift in going away from the Algebra 2 Common Core. And why did we do that? People are like, well, no, Common Core, that's the rigor, and aren't you? And really looking at it and having conversations with the math department chair and area principals and other chairs from other school districts, we really started to recognize that Algebra 2 trig and the trig component really helps students as they start to enter into Intro to Calc. And they need that trig to find success within Intro to Calc. We also know that SAT has components of trig within the SAT. So they're going to jump into an SAT without the trig if you offer Algebra 2 Common Core. So as a district, in studying what was happening in some of the other Westchester schools and in conversation, we made the decision to not offer Algebra 2 Common Core. We made a decision to go back to Algebra 2 trig to ensure that we are setting our students on a path that they're ready to take on some of those higher levels of mathematics. And you saw that in one of the slides, we're really focusing on ensuring and working to help our students get to a higher level of math and science if that's what the path they choose to go down. But we want to set them up for success. So that was one of the areas. And we'll continue to look at that. I mean, I think we're having, looking at the graduation requirements have changed, right? There's different options for graduation, and how does that impact the learner? And what can we do to help our students achieve success? And maybe it's not the standard, you have to take 5 Regents exams, and we really want you to take 7, and to really get away from the test and really talk about teaching and learning.
Other questions?
You have to have one question for the students because I made them run all the way up here. So if you don't.
That's right, because it ran all the way up here.
I just want.
There you go.
Cabaret.
Artistic creativity.
wanna
What's your
point
favorite
out-
part about Haldane, Noah?
The community, that your teachers care, about you. I think that's the biggest thing, is that, I feel like for me, the teachers are really invested in you doing well. Everybody wants you to succeed and wants you to be, your own learner and your own person. And so I know for me, that's being able to, have a dialogue, sorry, and, being able to have conversations and kind of understand why we're doing stuff and not just, this is how you do it. So I think Haldane does a great job of doing that, and it keeps me really engaged and excited about what we're doing.
Did you guys both do middle school and elementary school at Haldane?
I came to Haldane in 5th grade.
Okay.
I went to Garrison for kindergarten and 1st grade, and then went to a private school in Wappingers.
Got it.
2nd through 4th.
I've been here since kindergarten. Then at the end of 7th grade, 8th and 9th grade, I switched to a private school, but then came here at the beginning of 10th grade, and I think that's been one of the better decisions I've made. I really love the community here, especially to add on to what he said. I think the teachers here I think that they're amazing. I think that most of them have taught me not just the curriculum, but a lot of good life lessons, a lot of important learning habits as well. I think that the class options here are really amazing. I think that the extracurriculars. I mean, well, we're both in like 4 or 5
Yeah.
clubs. There's so many different clubs for a school of this size. I really like this place.
No, what was the club that you guys just started?
We
It's an
started-
interest group. It is not a club.
Astrophysics interest group.
It's an
Yeah.
interest group.
It's an interest group.
How's that working out?
I mean, it's going well. It's been kind of the snow days disrupted. We were supposed to have a meeting and then break. But we have a meeting on Thursday, so.
So this is
going.
like your golden opportunity to complain to the principal about the one thing that you'd like to see better or different about the school. So what is it?
I mean, I've said that the thing.
Ask the question. I could take it.
No, it's the only thing, and it's not something that the school can change. It'd be something for the taxpayers and for the board is to expand the physical footprint of the school. But of course, that tax increases. There has to be voting on it, and
Civic-minded students understand the process of what that means.
I have to agree again. I think that there's a lot of great rooms. I mean, I ate lunch in this room today and studied, but that's also, I think that having a designated library up here or a designated study room would be really great, because that way you don't have to bug the teachers and knock on their windows sometimes and be like, hey, can I come in here to study? And so, but besides that, I think that the high school's done a really great job of having everything.
Right.
I just want to point out that Andrew is also our student representative on the board. So, yes.
Seat over there.
Thank you, Andrew and Noah.
Thank you, guys.
Head back
You guys
down.
go back to rehearsal?
And we'll be sure to see you.
When's the date of the play? March. It's like 15 to 18.
15-ish.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just one other big plug I'd like to give is on March 21st, we are hosting a joint Garrison and Haldane Screenagers event. So keep an eye out for that. Thank you.
Great.
Any other questions,
Thank you.
guys?
I have one more
Oh,
question.
Sure,
sorry.
go ahead.
I don't remember if it was this meeting last year or the year before, but we were told that high school students were evaluated by Dr. Paul Yellen, and they were told about their learning style and their strengths. Is that continuing, or what happened with that
Yeah,
program?
so that's learner profile. So Paul Yellen didn't evaluate every student. So there's learner profile. It's a tool that our students, that's part of freshman seminar, would be looking at learner profile, looking at how you, what are your strengths as a learner and what are your blind spots or the areas that you may need to work on a little bit, but more of the thought in doing this and knowing how you learn is that you focus on those strengths to help drive you forward in terms of learning. So that work is done during freshman seminar, and that continues. Our students here at Haldane do it in 4th grade and in 7th grade, so they can redo it in 9th grade, but really focusing on that. Yeah, that cognitive behaviorist work too, through the Yellen Center. So that Paul has not been back here with that, but it continues in those grades and in that course.
Great, thank you.
Anything else? Then it's, to me, only to reiterate what I said a few moments ago, it's just thank you. I know how much work went into this. I've said this before, this is one of my 2 favorite board meetings a year, and the other one's across the river, but it is a favorite, in part because we get outside of our library. We get to see and hear from students, and we get to be reassured that our students, when they leave Garrison, whether they come here or over to O'Neill, genuinely thrive, and that's, as I say, very heartening for us. So thank you very much, all of you. You have business to do.
We do.
We do not. So anybody who wants to stay is welcome to stay, but since I will only remind you that we have our own meeting next week, a week from tomorrow, where we have a lot of work to do. Sure. I won't impose on your time anymore if you want to excuse yourselves, or we want to excuse ourselves. Sure. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Thank
you.
I would only say let the
much for
minutes
coming.
reflect that we adjourned at 7:55. Great.
Perfect.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Sure. We're going to take a 1-minute recess here.
We'll be quick.
All right. Welcome back. Thanks for that opportunity to have a brief break. Ms. McHugh, are you going to speak now?
Well, I was going to actually wait until, if you don't mind, wait until after.
Okay.
Second session.
Sure. Sounds good. Okay, any communication from the public at this point? No? Okay, moving on to information reports. These are here for our viewing, and we will approve next meeting. Consent agenda minutes. May I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Consent agenda financial. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? We are approving the establishment of the Lorraine Eisler Annual Scholarship Award, which is in honor of Miss Lori Eisler, who passed away recently. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Consent agenda personnel, may I have a motion?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
New business?
These are the CSE, CPSE recommendations. The recommended action states, be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education hereby approves the recommendations of the Committees on Special Education and Preschool Special Education as presented.
May I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye. Okay, the next one, I'm up. All right. I just wanted to let everyone in the public know that it is budget season, and it is also time for folks who are interested in running for trustees to pick up their petition packets. They're available in the district office. There are 2 seats open, currently held by Jen Daly and Laura Hammond, whose terms end on July 30th of this year.
June 30th.
Excuse me. June 30th of this year.
Is that what you're saying?
June 30th of this year. The seats are 3-year terms. They would begin July 1st, 2019, and end June 30th, 2022.
All righty. Great. Thank you for that information. Communication from the public. Now, Ms. McHugh.
Thank you. Hi, I want to just give a brief statement on behalf of the Haldane Faculty Association. I'm Andrea McHugh. I'm the president of the Haldane Faculty Association. On behalf of the HFA, I would like to really sincerely and genuinely thank the board as well as the administration for working with us with Lori's friends, her colleagues, and her family. It's been a really difficult time for all of us, and we are truly grateful that Lori's legacy of dedication to our Haldane family will live on through the Lorraine Eisler Scholarship Fund. At our last exec board meeting, the HFA voted to contribute to the scholarship fund this year and every year in perpetuity, so we can help to honor Lori's wish to support Haldane graduates pursue a career in education. So I just wanted to extend my thanks. I know that I speak for all HFA members when we express our gratitude to the board and administration during this time.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
If I could just add, Ms. Hammond, we had checked today, and this was the wishes of Lori's family to establish the scholarship fund. And I know there's still some particulars to work out, but I believe this scholarships will be directed towards students who are interested in pursuing education as a course of study after Haldane. And as of today, we had approximately $10,000 in donations to the scholarship fund. So a real testament to really to Lori and who she was and what she meant to this community. And I think that's those are going to become gifts that are going to continue to give to many kids, and Lori will continue to Spirit will continue to touch the lives of many of our students, and with the HFA's commitment for many years to come. So it's a good thing.
I agree. Thank you. Okay, any additional public comment?
I just wanted to, say that I've been to a lot of our Garrison board meetings, and I thought Julie Sniffen did a fantastic job tonight, and you and Miss Moscow. I really appreciated the presentation. I thought you did a great job. I liked the content. I thought it was informative. It was pretty. It looked good. It sounded good. The flow of the presentation. It was great. There was stats. There was feeling. So I just wanted to say congratulations. I thought it was great. And I also wanted to just let my colleagues know I'll be going to the Capitol Conference, NYSBA's Capitol Conference, on Sunday and Monday, where we lobby Albany for better education funding. Rah, rah. Fight the good fight.
Chaining yourself.
So, yes, more foundation aid. So I'll be doing that this weekend on our behalf, and I will let you know how it goes.
Great. Thank you, Jen, for your efforts. And I, as well, would like to thank Ms. Sniffen for all her hard work and those breakdowns of those figures, I know, most likely took some time. So I appreciate your efforts, and as well as Ms. Kristen Moskow's. So thank you. If there's no additional further comments.
Perhaps just one, if I may.
Sure.
I'm amazed we went the meeting without talking about the great time we had on Friday night. As
right.
a group.
How could we forget?
So the board and the administration, we had our retreat. I think it's a real testament to the character of the board to take 4 hours on a Friday evening to get together with the administration and engage in workshops through Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES. I thought we had a great session, and I just want to again say thanks to the board. We were able to debrief a little bit with the administration as a whole today, and who are also very appreciative of that time together. It's not often you have the opportunity to bring the full board and the full administration together to talk about shared goals for the year, and I think we set out and accomplished what we were hoping to do and have a real clear line of sight moving forward. So thank you all for your time, and obviously I'd already thanked our administrators for that, but time well spent. So.
I agree. I think that was actually one of the more fun. I think we were all in agreement that was one of the more fun retreats that we've had, and want to thank our friends at Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES, John McCarthy and Lynn Allen, for helping to facilitate the retreat.
But not just fun. Fun just fun is fine. But
yeah.
I mean, also, because it does cost the district money for us to have a retreat like that.
Well,
we were just hanging out. But fun in the effort of actually, really, I think, the purpose of the retreats is for us to really sort of develop our ability to work together as a board and to become better board members. And I actually really felt like it was really productive.
It was a team building event. Maybe I should explain the fun. It was a team building event, and Dr. Benante and I were competing against each other as builders, and we each had a team that communicated with us. We weren't able to see the object that Putnam Northern Westchester BOCES had created, but through communication and the designer, they were providing feedback to us, and we had to build the same structure. So it was very competitive. Just saying.
No, mind you, we did personality tests beforehand, and they assigned who was going to take on which role.
And
I was the role as the rule keeper, and I made sure that everyone was doing exactly what they were supposed to be doing on this side and this side, and not telling anybody, not talking when they weren't supposed to be talking.
And I do want to say, the facilitators, John McCarthy and Lynn Allen, said that they have never seen a district come so close to the structures that Dr. Bernante and I were able to build with our team.
It was
So-
impressive.
A lot of success.
So, speaking of fun, that's the fun that we had. Yeah, no, we didn't.
What happens at the retreat stays at the retreat.
So, all righty. Well, thank you everyone for coming. I'd like to,
Do we need to make a
make a
motion?
motion to adjourn.
Do we have to go back in executive?
Oh, we're
session.
reconvening in executive section to discuss the employment history of a particular individual. No action will be taken at this meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.